And we are back. Sorry about that, everyone.
Boom.
Remember, wait, this is better. I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff's been going on, so my head's in other places. But I just wanted to come on and do a fireside chat with my good friend Hank, who is wearing the Boogaloo shirt.
That's right. Boom. There you go. Silky goodness. Silky goodness.
Now, we did a story on the right,
Mm-hmm.
and basically, what's going on is that the ATF is warning law enforcement to be wary of people wearing shirts, much like the shirt that you are wearing.
Right. Because that's evil. And the ATF is definitely in charge of what shirts people can wear.
Yeah.
Not really, but
Do
they
you
would
think
like to be.
this is an overstep in what's been going on?
Oh, 1,000%. You know,
Yeah.
100,000%. This is why the ATF should be abolished. Okay.
This isn't the first time the government has overstepped their boundaries on stuff like this either.
No, absolutely not. It's not the first time. It's not the first time the ATF is overstepped. But for sure, it's, not the first one, be the last time the government's gone too far.
I have a leaked document from the FBI
Mm-hmm.
that talks about how people who um, have been buying military style weapons
Mm-hmm.
should be considered suspicious, and people that buy large quantities of ammunition should be considered suspicious too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but I buy a lot of military style weapons,
Mm-hmm.
and also I buy a lot of ammunition in bulk.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, do you think these are leftovers from the Obama administration who are just anti-gun, or do you think these are people that Trump put into place that are coming up with these dumbass rulings?
Inside of the FBI, it's yeah, it would be difficult to know. I think at this point, I don't know how many people he's put in the FBI. So we've probably got leftovers for sure, or holdovers from the previous administration. But I think in a lot of cases, no matter what we do, no matter who's in the White House, we're always going to have people in bureaucratic positions like this that are going to feel this way. We go, whether they're liberals or conservatives, Democrats, Republicans, we're always going to have some people like this.
You got to remember, Bob Barr is
Mm-hmm.
not exactly pro-gun, and
Mm-hmm.
he's the head of the DOJ.
Is it Bob or Bill?
I
Okay.
thought
I don't know.
maybe it's Bill. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
He's very anti.
Mm-hmm.
He's anti-gun, not to
Yeah.
the extent of some of the other people. Not like a Shannon Watts level anti-gun, but he is anti-gun and believes in restrictions, and that's one
Mm-hmm.
of the reasons why GOA opposed his nomination
Mm-hmm.
is because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I'm just looking at that watch. What watch is that?
This is a Tudor.
That's what
It's
I
a
thought.
Tudor. Yeah, sorry. I've got the desk here. Usually I stand when I do my show. So I've got the desk here. So I'm not deliberately posing on,
If you
Yeah.
don't know, Tudor is made by the same company that makes Rolex.
Yes. It's a sister company to Rolex.
It's very nice. I didn't know you were into watches.
I am. I'm very much into watches, man.
All right,
Very much. Very
totally
much so.
shipped.
Huh?
We totally shipped gears there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Which Tudor is that?
This is the Tudor Black Bay bronze.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So it's a Black Bay in bronze, so it changes color, stuff like that. It patinas according to the climate that you're in and all that kind of stuff. And it's on a NATO strap. So one of my favorite watches.
Yeah,
I can't, I can't roll with a Rolex yet. I will one of these days though.
That Tudor is getting up there in price. It's close to the Rolex.
Uh, Tudor to me is a very cool watch. I don't know. I mean, depending on what Rolex you're talking about, Rolex is they're getting really expensive, man.
Yeah, Rolexes are getting really expensive, but you can
Hmm.
get. I mean, there's some Submariners out there with no complications that you can
Hmm.
get for a reasonable price.
Yeah, there's a lot of hoarding going on in the Rolex world.
Oh
So
yeah,
the watches everyone's looking for that you can't get it. Like, let's say it's supposed to be $10,000, which I'm sure some people would think is outrageous. You can get Tudors for like $3,000. So there's, let's say this Rolex should be $10 or $15,000. People are hoarding them, and then they're like $15,000 or $20,000. So
yeah. You know what watches
yeah.
I really like? Welcome to Watch Talk, everyone. That's
Hmm.
pretty reasonable. And when I say reasonable for a watch,
Hmm.
about like $500, $600.
Hmm.
Are the Tussauds.
So yeah.
I love Tussauds.
I believe Tissot is under the Swatch umbrella.
They
This
are.
is what's going to happen when you have me on your show. You shouldn't have. Everyone's going to be like, "I thought we were talking about guns,"
Yeah,
but I talk about a lot of things. But Tissot, I think, is under Swatch, the
they
Swatch
are.
group. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize if you're not into watches, Swatch is not like the Swatches you remember from the 80s.
Hmm.
Swatch is the biggest Swiss watch company in the world, and
Hmm.
they own all these brands. And a lot of the watch brands that they own go for thousands of dollars.
Yeah, they own. So Swatch owns. They own Hamilton, I believe.
Yes, they do.
I've there's a bunch of different makers. I'm trying to think of what's the high end under the Swatch group.
I mean,
I would have to.
they have a lot. Um,
Yeah, they've been buying up everything.
yeah, they
Most of
are
the time.
freaking going crazy buying stuff.
Yeah,
Uh,
and you can get a good like Swiss made Swiss movement watch from Swatch for about $200 automatic. 200-300 bucks, and I recommend them. I have a couple.
yeah,
Mhm.
I think they make Omega too, even though Omega's okay.
Is it Omega? Yeah, yeah. I can look up the Swatch group. Swatch group is pretty big, and there'll be some known names in there under the Swatch group.
Rolex,
Uh,
Rolex.
no, Rolex is standalone.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
I,
Rolex is a standalone company.
I thought Swatch bought Rolex like
Mm-mm.
ago.
No, Rolex is privately owned by the Rolex family, and it's actually in a family. It's in a trust,
Uh,
and Rolex is in that trust, and so is Tudor, but it's independently owned from anyone. So
no, I'm just wondering. Yeah,
yeah,
no, sorry, your watch threw me off. Sorry, watches is another thing I'm into. Watches and cars and guns.
yeah, yeah, me too. So let's see brands and companies under the Swatch group. Let's see if I can. So Breguet, Harry Winston, Blancpain, Glashute, Jacques Draws, which I don't even know. Omega is in there. Longines, Rado, Union, Tissot, Certina, Mido, Hamilton, Calvin Klein, Swatch, and Flick Flack. So Hamilton's a good watch. That was actually an American watch company, but it belongs to the Swatch Group right now, and they make pretty cool watches.
Yeah, there's not really an American built watch anymore.
There's some little micro brands,
It's
micro.
micro brands, but they always get in trouble for saying American built. Like there's a one out of Detroit
Mhm,
that built in Detroit, and they got in trouble because it says built in the United States or something,
mhm,
or made in the United States, and it's like your parts aren't made in the United States. It was made in like Switzerland. The movement was
mhm,
Swiss
mhm,
movement, and then they went to the Miyamoto,
mhm,
a movement from Japan, and
mhm.
they got in trouble because it wasn't American made because they originally used Swiss movements. Then they started using.
Hmm.
the Japanese.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of companies get in trouble for that, man. There's companies in the gun world that are, you know, and there's nothing wrong with Japanese movements. They're pretty good.
Japanese movements are great.
Yeah.
Japanese is what calls the whole quartz crisis.
Hmm.
A lot of my watches, most of my watches are automatics, which means they're powered by the movement of your hand and stuff. I have little watch winders and stuff
Hmm.
that just move the watch when I'm not wearing them. But the quartz crisis is when Casio, I think it was, came out with
Hmm.
battery powered watch
Yeah.
that actually kept time better than the automatics.
Yeah. Quartz is tougher too. I mean, if you want a tough watch, right? If you want a tough, like your G Shocks and stuff like that,
Oh, dude, there's a new G Shock. I don't know if you've seen it. They
the
their first
it's octagonal.
no,
Oh,
they have
smartwatch. Yeah, I don't believe in smartwatches. Just like
uh
I don't believe in smart guns.
this one's kind of cool because you charge it with a USB cable, but also
Hmm.
uh it's solar powered.
Oh, solar power is cool. Solar power is
and,
cool.
and it has like tons of like options built into it, notifications.
Hmm.
It has um GPS built into it, and
Hmm.
you also get a free membership to a website that they have where if you like run or anything or work
Hmm.
out, you can actually see your path.
Yeah. That would be great. You get a dog and put the watch on your dog and then let him work out for you and then brag to people on social media about how awesome you are. What do you think? Is that a plan?
That that might work, unless there's an ATF agent by
Right.
there.
No, listen, people should be more active. I don't really like smartwatches because I don't know. I think they've lost the soul of what it is to be a watch. You know what I mean? I'm fine with something that's quartz because I know those are tough, and sometimes I wear a quartz watch myself. Especially if people look at my videos of me shooting, I typically have something that's quartz and tough on because if we're doing whatever craziness, or it'll be fine. Automatics don't tend to be as tough, although you can wear them and do stuff. I was climbing around in the mountains in Utah with this watch.
Yeah, when I go out and do stuff, I usually wear my Luminox
Hmm.
watch, which is a quartz watch, but it's
Yeah, Swiss Army or
uh
Swiss.
no, it's which one is it? It's
What's
their
the?
space watch.
Yeah, it's really tough. The Luminox.
Oh yeah, very tough.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's the same ones that the SEALs use a lot.
Hmm. Hmm.
In
Yeah.
fact, Luminox Navy SEAL watch.
Yeah.
That's yeah, but it's a very tough one. All right, let's get back into the gun stuff.
Oh, you want to talk about guns?
I want to talk about guns. I
Oh
want to talk
no.
about a lot of stuff. I want to
Okay.
talk about what's going
And
on.
we're on YouTube, so you can't show guns.
No,
Yeah,
we can,
except if they're toys.
yeah,
You know,
we
you
just
could
got.
do a wield. These are toys, YouTube.
Just kidding.
Just
Yeah,
check it out. They're not functional. How do you like that?
yeah,
We could talk about guns now.
yeah. You know,
Yeah.
I first person to give a super chat since I just got it activated. Will get a free movie of Sniper.
Yeah, come on, people.
But just,
Give Crumpy a super chat for crying out loud. How do we see it? How do we see it on here?
I have no idea.
Hmm.
I have to go back and look.
So you don't even know if someone's giving you a super chat.
Yeah, whatever.
You are a typical tech guy, by the way. Okay, it's just like how doctors are always the most unhealthy people. Mechanics always have cars that don't run. Never buy a car from a mechanic. Okay. Be very careful taking health advice from doctors because they're not really healthy. I can tell you this. I worked in hospitals for a huge portion of my life. Doctors are typically on crack, literally, or meth or whatever is your favorite local drug. Tech people, don't ever even let them mess with your computers. Okay, that's my advice to you.
What I wanted to talk about, there's a bunch of looting going out on in Minneapolis and other cities.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
read an article in the New York Post about
Hmm.
a group of people that are uh, protecting a tobacco shop with their AR-15s.
Group of people. Okay.
Yeah, and what's interesting is all the other buildings around that strip mall are on fire or being looted, and you see
Hmm.
guys just sitting around like bored in a parking lot with AR-15s,
Okay.
and the strip mall is like untouched.
Hmm. Okay. I think that's a good thing. I mean, I think that in Minneapolis, like a lot of places, you can't, you're not supposed to use deadly force to protect people from stealing stuff necessarily. You need to be protecting, like, potential loss of life and all that kind of stuff, right? That's really the situation that's going on there. Am I right or wrong with that?
You are right, but
Hmm.
my point was that these guys with AR-15s, their business,
Hmm.
they own one
Hmm.
shop in
Hmm.
this strip mall. By them just being in the parking lot,
Hmm.
it's
With
it's causing people just to avoid that strip mall
Yeah,
altogether.
let's stay away from there. We don't want to catch no. we
Yeah,
don't want to catch no ballistics. For sure, I get it. Yeah, it's a deter. Armed society is a polite society.
and you know what it reminded me of?
Uh huh.
The 1992 riots in LA,
Right. Uh huh.
Korean shop owners
Mm-hmm.
up
Mm-hmm.
on the roof of the
Yeah,
buildings.
rooftop Koreans. Uh huh.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, I think so. I was just talking to Kevin Dixie and Rolando, the Puerto Rican pistolero, as well as Mike from MJ's Firearms about this. So I think it's a good thing for sure that we have the ability to protect ourselves. And I think it's terrible, like the rioting, the destruction of things going on is pretty bad. CNN in Atlanta is under attack. I don't know if you saw that in the news or not. I know you've been writing stuff.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, so that was breaking while we were on air.
Oh, wow.
So I think all that's terrible, and this is why people should be able to defend themselves. And I believe that in a lot of neighborhoods where they've got a drug gang violence problems and all that kind of stuff, the people can do something about this. To me, in a lot of ways, even more effectively than the police, if they were just allowed to be armed. That the honest, hardworking, upstanding citizens, can do something about this.
Well, the police
So
have no duty to protect you.
right. Yeah, they don't. You know.
Supreme Court said that they have no duty to
Hmm.
protect you.
Hmm.
In fact, this whole thing is because a cop uh, overstepped his boundaries, and he's being charged now. By the way,
Hmm.
they just a second-degree murder. I think the charge is,
Hmm.
and a lot of people are wondering why that cop isn't being charged with first-degree murder. And the reason why is first-degree murder is premeditated murder. Like you had to
Hmm.
plan it. He
Yeah,
just
you've got a heavier burden of proof in that case. So I think they didn't want to, you know, wind up having this guy get off because they charged him with the wrong thing, or they were, overzealous in what they charged him with, and then when it gets to a jury or wherever it goes, they're like, well, this is inappropriate. That's already happened. So.
Yeah, if it was first degree murder, they would have to prove that he willfully planned to kill the guy,
Mhm.
which I don't think he did. I just think that
Maybe not. I mean, I know that there's been evidence that came out, right, that these two guys knew each other. Have you seen that?
yeah, but
Hmm.
I think he meant to rough him up
Hmm.
and overstepped his boundaries and wanted to punish him a little bit for being who he
Mhm.
was.
Mhm.
And
I mean, because why would a guy who they both did security together somewhere else and they knew each other, if you're out now, okay, you're in your capacity, you're a police officer, and this guy isn't, why, but you know him. Why would you go to this route? I mean, they're alleging that he had what, like a counterfeit $20 note, that it's in question of whether or not that was counterfeit, right?
yeah, I think a lot of it had to do with their personal history.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, we'll see what winds up happening with that, whether the guy just pleads out or takes it to trial and how it comes out, and then what other evidence. One of the things people have to always remember, like all of this stuff is unraveling. We don't know anything.
Yeah, but this seems like it's pretty much open and shut. At least what happened. It's all on video.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
I used to do Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and MMA, and
Hmm.
within like 15 to 30 seconds, uh, usually shorter than that, with a blood choke, which is more of a strangle than a choke.
Hmm.
With a choke, you're cutting off air. A blood
Hmm.
choke, you're not cutting off the air, and you're cutting off the blood flow to the brain, and it's safer in a way where if you let it go, it's not gonna leave any permanent damage. But if you hold it for
Hmm.
6 minutes, the person's gonna die.
Hmm.
I know a lot of people are saying, well, he was talking, so how is he being choked? What people have to realize is when it's a blood choke, you still can talk because you still have air.
Hmm.
Air's not being cut off. It's your blood to your brain that's being
Hmm.
cut. I think
Right,
that's
and that's what's going to eventually, kill your brain, which will, you know,
yeah,
kills the rest of you.
yeah. Once you go out, man, like the second you go out, that's when the danger starts. Um, and if you look at some MMA fighters who held like a blood choke for like Hoist Gracie.
Hmm.
He choked someone out one time, and he held the choke for a little bit longer. It was like 5 seconds longer after the referee told him to let go. He held it for I think it was Hoist Gracie. It was one of the Gracies, but he
Hmm.
held it for 5 seconds longer. It ended up getting like a year suspension
Wow. Okay.
because
Hmm.
that's how dangerous it is.
Hmm.
So this cop holding it for almost 8 minutes. It, that definitely police brutality. Police brutality starts the moment the person stops resisting and you keep on going.
Hmm.
And I didn't say that. Donut operator on YouTube. I don't know if you watch him at all.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Hmm.
He's the one who said that.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah, a lot of the cops that I know that viewed the video, uh, they all agree that at least the ones I've talked to all agree that these cops went way past than what they should have done.
Yeah, I haven't seen anyone that's okay with what these guys did.
No, and there's 3 cops there. What do you think the
Hmm.
punishment should be for the other guys?
They definitely shouldn't be police officers anymore.
I think they all got fired.
Yeah, but they should never be rehired anywhere. And probably there's, it's going to be some kind of civil thing. Um, Maybe there's some kind of negligence there. But this is one of the things, right? When all of this goes to the Supreme Court, that they don't have any obligation to protect you. So what obligations did those cops have? The whole thing's going to get it really it's going to get complicated and convoluted. So I think that it's good that they charge this guy with murder, at third degree. What they're going to possibly charge the other guys with, I don't know, and maybe that depends on whether or not those guys testify. I don't know what kind of testimony we need if we have all this video, but yeah, they definitely. It was good to fire them. They shouldn't work as police officers anymore, and they should definitely be shamed. If I could, I would say take them out, drag them out onto the into the town square and flog them. Why not? Even that's good.
Oh, by the way, Archangel says
Mhm.
he gets medical advice from RX 4 Cents Facebook page.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what Archangel says. Okay. Good for you. Good for you. That's Lola. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
your medical field and my wife is in the medical field too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so these cops, I think they're going to be.
She doesn't take her medications either, so she still fits into what I said. Trust
Yeah,
me.
doctors suck at taking their own advice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. They don't ever take their.
Yeah, they also have terrible handwriting.
My wife actually has really good handwriting, which is
Oh, okay. I guess it's just pharmacists. That's what I hear a lot. Pharmacists have terrible handwriting, but Lola's got the worst.
that most doctors have terrible. I have terrible handwriting though, so I really
Yeah.
can't complain. But I
Hmm.
have benign tremors, so
Hmm.
my hands always shake a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Kind of funny because I shoot guns, and
Hmm.
when I shoot guns, they don't shake. I don't understand why, but
Yeah.
um,
Different part of your brain.
yeah, I guess. But
Hmm.
yeah, but getting back to these cops,
Right.
it's been a bad couple of weeks for cops, man.
It has, you know, at some point here, either they have to really do something to change at least our perception of what's going on, or someone else above them has to take the time to do something about it.
Do you think
You
there's
know?
a way we can unite cops and like the civilian population through some type of programs or anything like a
I don't know.
civilian?
I mean, I think we've got a lot of programs. Personally, I feel like we should reset everything. But I think that the only way to, everyone has to understand everyone else's point of view or perspective. So you really have to get, first of all, like civilian population, cops are civilians too. So they are not like any different from any other citizen, civilian, however you want to put it. They are just somehow indemnified by whatever city they work for, right? To go out there and police this city. And therefore, typically, if they get into something, someone gets hurt, they've got protections and all kinds of things involved in that. But in no way above anyone else that they're serving. But the only way to fix all of this is to get everyone to understand what's going on and then take part somehow in everything that happens. So if people really care about this and want to fix it, they have to get involved in everything. Because if you just simply went out there and said, okay, the way that we won't get white cops killing black people is by there won't be any white cops in black neighborhoods. It'll only be black cops. The black cops are going to wind up doing the same thing, right? So everyone needs to know, like, why do we have police officers? What is the process of someone becoming a police officer? How do we monitor and maintain their professionalism while they're a police officer, and then reward them for that when they're good, and then punish them appropriately as they're going bad, or when we realize, like, hey, this person's bad. All of that, people have to get involved in it. But what we all do is we vote for the mayor or whoever else. That person is over the police department. It's all politics. No one really pays any kind of attention to that until something goes wrong like this. Everyone gets mad. They either forget about it, riot, and then forget about it, or just move on, get into other things and forget about it until the next situation comes up. And that's, we're not going to fix anything like that.
Sheila Benson says she loves your video on guns.
Oh, thank you, Sheila. I appreciate that. That's
And,
awesome.
and John Voorhees says if it was a black cop who did to a white guy, you wouldn't hear anything about it in the media. What do you think about that?
Um,
I think this situation would be
I,
different.
huh?
Give me my own personal opinion
Hmm.
for the way it happened. I think this way would have. I think this still would have been in the media.
I think so, yes, but also let's look at it this way. So I think that John, we could probably say that he's mostly right. Okay, we could probably say he's mostly right. But let's also look at this. If a little black girl disappears somewhere in America, You are unlikely to see a lot of news coverage about that, especially national news coverage. But if a little white blonde girl disappears somewhere, that will be in the news, everywhere in America. So yes, we have these like things that don't seem fair, but ultimately in the universe it balances itself out, right? And that's just that's just the reality of the world that we live in. Think about it. How many times do you see the media making a big deal about some little black kid that gets kidnapped? If a little white kid gets kidnapped somewhere, it's a big deal. Or think about this: when we saw the white blonde woman who owned a beauty salon, and she got arrested, we were all up in arms, right? I guarantee you, somewhere there were people of color that owned similar things, and that happened, but it didn't make for good news. So in some instances, the news benefits people of color, and in some instances, it benefits people who are also of color that are white people. But it's a weird thing. We just got to learn. We just have to learn that that's like the unfortunate reality of how everything works, and it's mostly because of what we pay attention to.
Yeah, it's very very interesting.
Hmm.
Uh, I see what John's saying. Like for
Hmm.
example, Aubrey, I can't remember what his last name is.
Yeah,
The guy that was shot, and the
yeah.
two
It's Aubrey Ahmed, or
Aubrey Ahmed. Yeah,
yeah. Hmm.
uh, there was actually three people that chased him down. And
Hmm.
I don't think they should have chased him down because
Hmm.
one thing, like even if he was stealing, there was no danger of life there.
Hmm.
Uh,
Even if he was running with a TV or a stereo or something, okay.
yeah, there was
I mean,
no
call the cops, let them deal with it. At some point, they'll track him down.
yeah, there was no
Yeah.
risk of violence there.
Hmm.
But do you know that there was actually three guys that chased him down, not two?
Well, I believe wasn't the guy who shot the video also chasing him?
Yes.
Hmm. Right.
And
That's why that guy's been charged, right?
yeah, but
Hmm.
you don't hear about the third guy being charged.
Hmm.
You know why?
Why?
He's black.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think that's the reason why.
Yeah.
So I can see what John
Yeah.
Voorhees is
We've
saying.
got inconsistencies like that. Like here in Gainesville, there was so people in Florida always talk about stand your ground. They want to get rid of stand your ground. They think stand your ground is only used when like a white person kills a black person, right? So I remember a story here where a black couple were together, and the woman's ex-boyfriend, they were in a hotel. The ex-boyfriend found this hotel, tried to kick his way in through the door, that didn't work, smashed the window and started coming through the window, and the guy shot him and he died. And there were never any charges or anything like that because of stand your ground. But it never became a big media news thing outside of Gainesville because everyone involved was black. So that doesn't fit the media narrative of this is what white people are using to execute black people.
My main point is I think that the media uses it to divide people,
Hmm.
and the
For
reason
sure.
why they do it is not for some ideological reason. It's because that's how they get ratings.
Hmm. If it
Well,
bleeds, it leads.
exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. If they can push some narrative of some injustice, injustice,
Hmm.
people inherently uh, are against injustice.
Hmm.
So if they can show injustice, they
I, I think so, but I think like this current climate of media that we have, right, the mainstream media, I think that's true, but I think an overriding factor now in the media is politics and pushing a specific agenda and trying to get people to vote in a specific direction. So a
really,
lot, huh?
really,
Yeah, I think so. It seems crazy, but I think that's a lot of what they're doing, right? And like in this situation, they're trying to make it. they're trying to make people think. There's some people in America that think that Trump is okay with this and Republicans and conservatives are okay with this. But I can tell you, no one in America is happy about this thing to happen
Oh no,
to
definitely,
Floyd George. No one's happy about that.
definitely not. And people got upset at Trump. Tommy says that anybody breaks in his house, he'll shoot them. It doesn't matter what color they are. But people got mad at Trump because Trump said that the rioting is taken away from the tragedy that happened to George, whatever. I can't remember what his name was. Not
Hmm.
straight today.
I believe it was. I believe it was Floyd George.
Floyd
It's
George.
like, yeah. Hmm.
And I kind of agree with them that all this rioting is taken away from what happened to him.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. And I know where Tommy's coming from, but let me just say something to you. I agree with you. Someone breaks into your house in the middle of the night, you go get your guns, prepare to defend yourself. Um, if they see you and they turn around and they run, you are better off not doing anything to them.
It, yeah, you don't jump into a
Yeah.
car and chase the guy down because he's at a house under construction.
Yeah. But if you're home, your family's there, you're worried about your own safety, your family's safety, and that's in danger. And even when that person sees you, they keep pressing the issue or whatever. Absolutely, 100%. But if that person turns and runs, I know this might be upsetting to some people, but if they're running and you get into something, like no matter what, even if you're 100% in the right, you're going to have issues. But if you wind up in it, because a lot of like it's a lot of bravado in the gun world, like, well, yeah, I'll just take them out and dig a hole and bury them and all this kind of stuff, and that sounds really cool until you actually have to live through that.
I call it sheepdog syndrome.
Yeah, but I could tell you the reality of you even being 100% in the right, defending yourself and taking someone out. The reality of that, it will live with you forever. You know, so I'm not saying don't defend yourself. I'm saying do defend yourself. But if you don't have to, you are better. Okay, I prevented this. Let me call the cops. Let them track this person down. Let me secure my home, be prepared in case they come back or whatever. But it's better for you that you didn't have to do something to that person.
When I was a baby, our house got home invaded.
Hmm.
Um, and my mom had a 38 revolver,
Hmm.
and she confronted the guy.
Hmm.
Tommy, 100%.
Yeah.
She confronted the guy, and she told the guy in a very stern voice, "Get out of my house, or I will shoot you."
Hmm.
The guy, he had a knife. He
Hmm.
in a gunfight. Looked at her and said, "You won't shoot me."
Hmm.
So my mom had me as a little baby, and I had four older sisters, all
Hmm.
kids. My
Hmm.
mom said, "Take one more step, and you will find out I will shoot you."
Hmm.
The guy said, "No, you won't." And so he decided he's going to take that one more step.
Hmm. Your mom stopped talking. I'm taking it.
Yeah, it didn't work out the way he thought it was.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
And I asked my
Absolutely.
mom, I was like, "Do you feel bad about that? Do you ever feel bad? Did it ever bother you?" And my mom is really, really tough. And I figured she would be like, "Yeah, it bothered me." She's like, "No." She's like, "Not for
She
a
did the
second."
right thing. She did the right thing.
Not for a second. She's like, "I had to do
Yeah.
what I had to do.
Hmm.
I had
Yeah.
kids that it was him or us."
Yeah. When you get those situations, so I think you've probably been on the show before, and there's some situation of where, like a young black kid broke into to some old lady's house in the middle of the night, and that woman's scared, and unfortunately, that kid winds up getting killed, and then his family's mad at her because this kid was just trying to get clothing for school or whatever it is. No, there's no sympathy for you breaking into a home of an old lady in the middle of the night. She's there by herself and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have sympathy for those kinds of things, regardless of who's in that situation. And if we don't want that to happen to our loved ones and our children, then we should teach them better than that.
There was a story of an 80-year-old lady in Missouri, I guess about 5, 6 years ago, where that situation happened. She woke up in the middle of the night and saw uh, some kid in her room. She didn't have a gun, but she had a lamp,
Mm-hmm.
and she beat him to death with it.
Mm.
And his family was all upset because she beat him to death with a lamp.
Mm-hmm.
And in my
No,
opinion,
I'm okay with that too. Yeah.
yeah,
You know.
not only did you die, but you got taken out
Yeah.
with a old lady with a lamp.
Yeah, obviously he scared the crap out of her.
Yeah, so she just grabbed the first thing that she saw, and
Don't mess with old ladies.
and the family sued her for it.
Mm-hmm.
Gorillas and Guns says, "What's up?" I don't know if you know who Gorillas and Guns is.
Absolutely, yeah. G
They're
and G. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Okay. Do you think that the police overreacting in this case uh, with Mr. George is uh, how do I say this? Do you think they're too militarized and they get into this? I don't. Have you ever been to Europe?
Yes.
Have you ever dealt with the cops over there?
Um, in Europe, no, not like not getting tickets or arrested or anything like that. No.
They have a totally different outlook on how they deal with suspects or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They are trained, and I don't think we should do much of what Europe does, but they are trained to talk in a calm manner, not being confrontational, not yelling,
Mm-hmm.
but talk to you like, hey, just come here. And it's successful. I don't know if it would work out in the United States, but sometimes I think that the police are too militarized, especially when they're really like. I live in Ashburn, Virginia, which is
Mm-hmm.
the average person in Ashburn makes $140,000 a year. That's the average salary for someone who lives in Ashburn.
Mm-hmm.
And the cops around here, they have an MRAP.
Mm-hmm.
No one's breaking into houses. No one's stealing cars.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, there's no crime.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not necessarily a fan of that. You know, I mean, I think I understand there may be some situations where police officers think they need to go super tactical. So there's a rationalization for it, but I think that in most cases, people are going too far with those things, you know, and they don't necessarily have a reason for that. Now, maybe like, so where I live is out in the country, you know, there's some very dubious things going on sometimes in the country. Maybe you might have a bad guy who's, you know, pretty well armed, and you're, you know, as a police department, you might just be a couple of guys going out into the middle of nowhere. And if you get into something with that guy, you know, it could go badly wrong. But I think for the most part, they're getting all of this equipment and and training and abilities to take people out, and then sometimes looking for reasons to use it. And then in a lot of cases, they have this stuff and they don't use it. I think like in this particular case, this guy was just probably a bully. Like we said, he had some kind of relationship with this guy already that made him go negative, because for counterfeit money for $20, why are you even thinking about arresting someone? And then we have the whole COVID crisis going on, which I was under the impression that they weren't even arresting people,
Yeah, I think.
right?
Yeah, I think this is there's gonna be more to the story, and I think it's gonna come out that they
Yeah.
don't they didn't like each other.
I think so. I think so. But listen, if the cops can have all that stuff, then we should probably have it, and then we could just have we can have mutually assured destruction and escalate it. You know, like we can have attack helicopters and all of that. But I think we are in charge of what our police departments do, and we have to ask ourselves, what do we want them to do?
Yeah, have you ever heard of Sheriff Chris Brown of in Arkansas?
In Arkansas, no.
Sheriff Chris Brown, he comes on the show every once now and then.
Hmm.
Ghost Tactical lives near him, and
Hmm.
he believes that civilians should have everything that his police department has.
Hmm.
He believes that civilians should have the right to every single thing that they have.
Hmm. Yeah. We're supposed to figure out how to work together with our police. I like how my police department, and there's a sheriff, which is probably the same situation you're talking about. That guy's elected. That means he has to be in the good graces generally of the people
Yeah.
of his county that he's serving. He has to know them, and it's a smaller department. And in lots of cases, they realize that they have to depend on the people. So in other words, if you're like a 10-person police department, right? And something big happens, now you've got to like deputize some extra people, right? So you better know who are good guys in your neighborhood, who are people that you could go to, you could trust. You're like, hey, we got a big thing going on here. We need you. We're going to deputize you and get you to roll out with us and stuff like that. So I think those kinds of situations tend to work better because they're more symbiotic versus in big cities where you just have these massive, like Gainesville itself has 5 police forces functioning within Gainesville.
Well, here's the thing. Grilling Guns brings up a good point.
Hmm.
That cop that killed Mr. George has been brought up on abuse of authorities, and I think he's
I
been
think he's killed someone before too.
yes,
Hmm.
yes. It was a questionable shoot too.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I don't think he should be a cop. I think they should have got rid of him a long time ago.
We're just not like we have too many cops in America, right?
Definitely.
There's too many cops. They're
We need
not
law.
vetted properly. They're not trained properly. They're not retrained. They have to like you have to constantly be retrained. And then if you've served for all this time and you're professional and you have all these skills and experience, you need to be properly compensated. We just don't have that going on.
No, and when we do have a popular sheriff, like we have a popular sheriff in my county, he
Hmm.
won like with 90 some % of the vote,
Hmm.
but he's a Republican, and my county is very very liberal,
Hmm.
and he won with 90 some % of the vote.
Hmm.
So the board of directors don't like the fact that he's Republican and he's pro Second Amendment,
Hmm.
which and he's like, I'm not going to enforce any
That's
constitutional.
what we need. That's what we need. If they try to roll up on places, your sheriff can be there. Like I said, deputize people, put together, be part of the militia and block people off and go, hey, we're not even letting you come in here.
But they're trying to disband the sheriff's department,
Hmm.
replace it with the police department.
Worst thing they could ever do, man.
Well, they're doing it because he's not under their control. He stated to them that he doesn't report to them; he reports to the people of the county.
Amen. That's the way it should be.
But they didn't like that too much.
Yeah, that's
So
the way it should be, though.
replace you. We'll just disband your position.
Yeah, I think the people in your community should push back against that.
Oh, we
Yeah.
we definitely are. You got to remember, our board of directors. Uh, her name is Phyllis Randall, and she wears a Mom's Demand action pen.
Oh well. Yeah. Enough said. you know. Yeah. So she's getting some Bloomberg money.
She's getting tons of. Well, her whole election campaign was paid for by Mom's Demand Action.
Hmm.
They gave her uh, most of her money. They were her biggest donor.
Yeah.
Her second biggest donor was Everytown, and then her third biggest donor was like the Bloomberg Foundation,
Mm.
which is all front companies for Bloomberg,
Hmm.
a way
Hmm.
that he can sway elections.
Hmm.
Bloomberg has done a lot of stuff in Florida as well
Oh, absolutely.
with
100%.
Republicans.
Yes. Yeah. A
Talk about
lot
that.
of them, a lot of them have sold out for the money, man.
Yeah,
You know. Yeah. It's one of the reasons we've got anti-gun stuff coming into effect in Florida.
yeah. That's one of the things that I look at Virginia. I'm like, man, Virginia's bad. But then I look at Florida. I'm like, these are Republicans. trying to
Hmm.
push this shit.
Yeah, but I think one of the problems also in Florida is that they're not really Republicans. I think that the Democratic Party has a lot of influence and sway over the country in general, and they kind of are getting more and more of a hold in Florida. But what happens is you have a lot of people who I think are really liberals, but because the Democratic Party's filled up, they go into the Republican Party because they just want to be politicians. And that's how you get all this weakness in there. And maybe in the past Florida was very conservative, and because you had older people coming here to retire. But now the big problem that you're getting, and you're getting this all over the country, is that people are running away from very liberal cities and states to places like Florida, and then they are making those places just as terrible as the places they ran away from.
Yeah, I don't get that. It's like, okay, this place is so bad. Let's move to another place and make it exactly like the place that we're leaving.
Hmm.
We have a lot of people from New York where I live at,
Hmm.
and I'm
Yeah.
actually from
In
Virginia.
Florida too. I mean, I came from New York, but I
Yeah,
think for a long time in my life, I've been moving in the direction that I'm in now. So, um, I don't think everyone coming from New York is going to be like that, but especially when people first come to Florida, they're like that, and I mean, even for me, when I first came here, I was a Democrat, but it's just one of these things, right? That a lot of people just are Democrats until they figure out that they're not. So
I think most people are libertarians.
I think so. I mean, I'm not saying like I'm a registered Republican now, but I feel like more like a libertarian. But Florida doesn't allow you to be in the middle. We don't have enough of an independent party movement here. So if you are a Democrat, you can only vote for Democrats in the primary. If you're a Republican, you can only vote for Republicans in the primary. You don't have flexibility, and I think that's something we've got to change.
Yeah, I had Alan Bon Jovi on, who's a Democrat, on our show, and he's also pro gun, a pro gun
Hmm.
Democrat, and he's like really left wing, but he's still
Hmm. Is
pro
he
gun.
related to John Bon Jovi?
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
asked him that.
Hmm.
Like,
Huh?
he's like, I get that a lot.
Yeah, I bet he does. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but so he was like, "You're not really a libertarian. You're probably a Republican." I was like, "No, I'm pretty sure I'm a libertarian." He's like, "Well, what's your views on drugs?" I'm like, all of them should be legal."
Hmm. Yeah,
I started going through like all this different stuff, and he's like, "Oh, I guess you really are a libertarian."
yeah. I don't care who gets married to who. Not my business.
Like, well, what do you think of gay marriage? I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't think government should be in marriage at all.
yeah. Most people probably shouldn't even get married. I'll
No.
be honest with you. But
Luckily,
huh?
luckily, I met my dream woman. So, and I know you and Lola are very, very happy.
Yeah, I don't know if I would put Lola in Dream Woman category just yet. I don't want her to get like her head all, big and blown up over that.
Lola, if you're there, you can punch him.
I don't even know if Lola's here. I'll be honest with you, man. It's 11 o'clock or after 11. Lola. Oh, she's here. She's here. She said she could hear everything I'm saying. But yeah,
Yeah, well, I'm not going to keep you too much longer.
yeah.
Just got a couple more questions for you.
Sure.
Why did you decide to go with the Audi R8
Audi R8, one of the best cars on the face of the planet, the most recognized supercar. It's affordable.
value?
Um,
Yeah,
huh?
it's very affordable for a supercar.
Yeah, it is, and it has high value for what you pay for it. And then if you get it used, like the one I have now is used, so you get even a better valuable. You're talking about,
First gen?
you know, huh?
Is it a first gen?
Yeah, I've got a Gen 1 V10, and so you're getting a lot of power. You're getting all-wheel technology. I mean, Audis make good cars, and it's timeless. And I just thought it was cooler. Like I like a Porsche. but I thought it was something more just looked different from the Porsche, and there are a lot of other cars out there that are expensive in the same kind of category, but not as reliable, I would
Yeah.
say. So I'm a crazy car guy, and I would go through cars all the time. I'm trying to find that car where I can just settle down and stop spending so much money on cars, because I found this really, great car. And so over my lifetime, I've just gone through a lot of cars, but this is like, I think it's one of the cars that I would say, hey, this is close, to being perfect.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons why I like the R8 is because it is affordable, supercar affordable, gorillas and
Hmm.
guns,
Hmm.
clever techs out there. Um, but
Hmm.
you can get a Ferrari 430 for the same price. That's early 2000s, or you can get a Maserati, which
Hmm.
has
And all of those things will make you really broke fixing them.
yeah, I was gonna say, but
Yeah.
you can get a Maserati for cheap, but the Maserati has a Ferrari engine, and Ferrari engines are not the easiest thing to work on.
Hmm.
When if you need to replace like a water pump, you have to drop the engine,
Hmm.
which is
Yeah, they're very difficult to work on. Yeah, I think, someone like I remember someone said to me like, "Oh, how come you drive your car every day? First of all, it's my car. I'm paying money for it. I'm going to drive it every day. But if you get something like a Ferrari, you're probably not going to drive it every day because you don't want to put mileage on it and all that kind of stuff, right? But that to me is like if you met a supermodel chick, okay? She's your girlfriend or whatever, but you're only hitting it on the weekends. Do you understand what I'm saying?
yeah,
So that's how I look at it. I'm not. I want something that's more stable than that. So a Ferrari is like one of those, on the verge of being a crackhead supermodel chicks. Whereas like a Audi R8, I think is more of like a nice fit, strong, good hips,
yeah. Gorilla,
sturdy supermodel chick.
Gorilla and Gun Safari no longer owns Maserati. That is true, but if you
Uh,
want to get, uh,
yeah.
but if you want to get a Maserati uh, that's a few years old,
Mhm.
same price as you can get like a used
Yeah,
R8.
I Lola likes Maseratis. I would not buy a Maserati
You're,
whatsoever. I don't believe
they're
those aren't good cars.
they plummeted. They
Yeah,
plummeted like crazy.
yeah. Now Ferraris today, modern Ferraris that have come out in the last 10 years, they're good cars. But Ferrari is like a real super high performance car, very difficult to work on, like you're saying. But people do get used Ferraris at good prices and work on them. You better be really mechanically inclined, or have someone in your family that really really loves you.
You have to have a way to drop the engine.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it on a budget, if you have like I do everything on a budget. So my personal philosophy in life is don't wait until you're dead to try to enjoy your life. Or when you're old, like when you're really old and decrepit and everyone wants to put you in a nursing home, that's no time to start enjoying your life. But you have to balance things out. I have a family, I have children, I have responsibilities, I have all this stuff that I do. And honestly, all of this is more expensive than that. But I still want to like, live my life, but I want to be sensible, I think,
Yeah,
about it.
do what I do. I bought a Genesis G70,
Hmm.
a little bit of upgrades to it, and now I'm pushing 525 horsepower, wheel horsepower.
Hmm. Hmm.
A very light car.
Hmm. Yeah. Modern cars are just amazing, and the amount of power that you're getting. I mean, look, you could go buy a Hellcat or something like that, 600 horsepower. It's just rear wheel drive.
The new Hellcat Jedi 797.
Yeah, but I'm saying you can get a regular Hellcat. You could probably get a regular Hellcat used. What is it? I think a regular Hellcat's like 600 horsepower, man. You could probably get one of those used for 40 grand.
Regular Hellcat 707.
Really? It's
Yeah,
7.
our Hellcat 707. The Hellcat Red Eye is
That's
790.
like 8. Yeah, 8, 9, something like that. Yeah. And you
Yeah,
can easily get them to 1,000 horsepower, but that's completely ridiculous because what are you going to do with that
yeah.
other than burn up tires?
I'm gonna put a fogger system on my G70.
What the fogger system? What's that?
It injects nitrous directly into the intercooler.
Oh, nitrous, nitrous. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not nitrous like in the traditional sense of nitrous.
Right.
It injects it into the intercooler, so it gives you a boost of about like 80 to 100 horsepower.
And what kind of damage does it do?
It doesn't do the same amount of damage as nitrous into the engine.
Oh, okay. Okay. But you already have turbos.
Yeah, I got twin turbos. That's why
Okay.
it into the intercooler.
Mm-hmm. And 500 and something horsepower, not enough for you.
You have 525 wheel horsepower, so I'm probably pushing around 600 to the
Mm-hmm.
current,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, I'm 1,500 pounds lighter than a Hellcat too,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's never enough power, man. You always got to get more power.
with better gearing.
Yeah, more power. My next car is gonna be a Cybertruck.
I
So there
know
you
we
go.
Cybertruck, so you can do it
Yeah.
stand and then like
Yeah.
drive it 500
Yeah.
miles.
I'm gonna rock that Cybertruck.
I'm gonna
I
get
want to
a
be the first gun guy with a Cybertruck, but I don't know. It's probably not gonna happen. Lola thinks that she's gonna block my Cybertruck plans.
yeah. I'm gonna get a JDM car,
JDM, like a GTR or something.
like an R34 when they become legal.
I think they're legal now.
No, they're not. Almost.
Okay, we're close. Okay, so which ones do we have that are legal? I thought they were importing a bunch of these.
R33s. R34s will become legal in like a couple months.
Oh, okay.
You
Okay.
can't register them right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I want to get, a right-hand drive car.
Mm-hmm.
Put some big ass turbos on
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like that's the one thing I don't like of it. I don't like the side of where the steering wheel's at, but
Yeah, but it's kind of cool.
it is cool. It is cool. I just, it's weird, but yes, it's cool. I don't know why we still let the British dictate that kind of stuff, man. Everyone in the world, the whole planet should be left-hand drive.
Almost everywhere is left-hand drive.
Yeah, so we got to stop those other people, man. They need to get their acts together. This is
Yeah,
where I believe in socialism right here. No, I'm just kidding.
you have.
Make everyone left-hand drive, damn it.
Yeah, man, but yeah, I just like the.
Did you see that thing? There was this thing in the news about like someone from the American American ambassador in England and his wife. She was she I don't know if she was drunk or what, but she was in England. She drove on the wrong side of the road and unfortunately killed this kid on a motorcycle. Now they're trying to track her down, man. They're going to Interpol with this because she came back to America and claimed diplomatic immunity. So the Brits are trying to arrest her.
Yeah, well, they can apply. Cause I used to have a black passport,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically they can't do shit to you.
Yeah, I think Trump refused to turn her over, so now they're trying to like find other ways, like if she goes to some other country, yeah.
They still, I mean, if they arrest her, then that would set a bad precedent.
Yeah.
I used to roll with a kid back in high school and college that was a ambassador's son.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were underage and we transported the alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
we would transport it in his car
Mm-hmm.
because it couldn't be searched if they pulled it over.
Mm-hmm.
And we got pulled over one time in his car,
Mm-hmm.
and they were giving him a hard time, so he just like drove off.
Yeah, that only works up to a certain point, man. Then you can get into serious trouble. It's not like what you see in TV shows. I can just tell you. Yeah.
It's not,
Yeah.
but they still can't.
Well, because I knew some kids that their dad was an ambassador Actually, they were from Ghana, and their dad was an ambassador, which Ghana is where Lola's from, and they got into selling drugs and stuff like that. I think in John Gotti times, and eventually, man, they got put away. Their parents couldn't save them.
Yeah, well, that's a little bit different than
Yeah, they
transport on a trunk.
if they build up enough of a case on you, you're going away.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah,
underage drinking and drugs is
that's one thing. You
two.
start moving weight, they will figure out. They will
Yeah,
get you.
oh, yeah, we
Yeah,
were taking it to our high school
yeah.
or
It's
our
not the purge. Like, oh, here's my black passport. Purge, bitch. And then you just do whatever you want. They will get you if they really want you.
yeah. A lot of times, the countries will waive if it's like something serious, like murder or something. They
Hmm.
will waive your diplomatic immunity at any time. Like the State Department can say, uh, you did this crime. You had diplomatic immunity when you did the crime, but we're going to retroactively take away your diplomatic immunity.
Hmm. Yeah,
It happens
it
a
could
lot.
happen. Yeah. I felt bad for him. I don't know whatever wound up happening to him. He's a smart kid, and I think even when he first went to prison, he was trying to do schooling and all that in there. But it's that lives with you forever, man.
Yeah,
Not worth it.
I went to high school with a kid. After high school, he was a normal kid. All of a sudden, like a couple years after high school, he's buying restaurants, Lamborghinis, and Ferraris.
Hmm.
Then they busted him because he was moving a lot of product,
Hmm.
and he went to jail. And he rolled on his suppliers because he was like not the street level dealer, but he was supplying the street level dealer, and he rolled on his suppliers. So he was like moving like millions of dollars.
Hmm.
So whoever he rolled on was really big. So
Hmm.
they put him in witness protection, and he decided to come out of witness protection.
Hmm.
And like 2 days after he decided I don't want to be in witness protection anymore, he
Hmm.
like disappeared.
Mm.
And then like 2 weeks later, they found him in Baltimore behind a dumpster dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I mean that
Hmm.
that shit is
It's not
terrible.
worth it. It's not worth it.
No, it's not, man. But
Yeah.
he was like, "I'll be fine."
If you get out there, work hard, man. Work harder than everyone else, and apply yourself. I'm not trying to say it's easy, but you could do well in life. You just
Yeah,
have to get
exactly.
out there, work hard, do the right thing, apply yourself, be on the lookout for opportunities,
And you
be a
don't,
good person, take care of other people.
you don't
Huh?
end up dead in a dumpster in Baltimore.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully not. In the world that we live in, anything could happen to you, but your odds go down.
Yeah, he just rolled on some Colombians. So
Yeah, well, your odds go up in that case of winding up behind a dumpster, man.
and he decided not to stay in witness protection. He was only witness
Hmm.
protection for like a month, and
Yeah.
then he couldn't take it. So he's like showed back up, and people were like, "Oh my god, he's back!" And he's gone.
Once you go into that criminal life, you never actually leave it, man. They don't let you out. So, it's a warning to people out there. It's just not worth it to do.
If you go into criminal life, you're gonna end up dead or or in prison.
Yeah, you can easily ruin your life forever, even if you're not. Nowadays everything will live forever, man. They don't let you get away with anything. Everything will follow you forever.
Yeah,
You
I know a
know. So.
guy who still can't own guns for something that he did when he was
Hmm.
like 30.
Hmm.
Somebody did something very bad to his daughter. Uh,
Hmm.
a neighbor, a guy lives down the street.
Hmm.
So he shot him in the face,
Hmm.
and he did some time in prison. But then he got out,
Hmm.
and he's never committed a crime. He would never committed a crime before then, and never committed a crime after then. But he still can't own guns. I know
Yeah.
that's not the same, but
Right.
what I'm saying is one mistake can ruin your life forever.
Absolutely. I see Gorillas and Guns says I left the criminal life 22 years ago, never looked back. Good. Yes, you can be reformed, I mean, it doesn't make you the worst person in the world depending on what you did, but yeah, it's tough out there even if you don't do those things, but definitely when you do that, you're just tying an anchor around your neck basically.
especially nowadays. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the David Chappelle thing where he was talking about like about being a criminal now and how it's so
Mhm.
hard because
Mhm.
maybe it was Chris Rock. How
Mhm.
the forensics guys would come in, they'll look around, there'd be nothing there. Then all of a sudden, they will look they'll see under the refrigerator, something catches their eye. They go out there, and they pull out, and they're like, "We found a single pubic hair."
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they, yeah.
Oh, it's easy now, man. They could probably go back in time and see what phones will wear.
Oh no, they can. They definitely can. That is one
Yeah.
thing people don't realize that
Hmm.
the phone companies store every place you go.
Yeah,
You know,
every ping. Huh?
Scott Peterson,
Yes.
who killed Lacey Peterson.
Right.
That's how they call him.
Hmm.
He said, "Oh, I was at this place," and they pulled up his phone records, and they said, "No, you weren't. You
Hmm.
were here. You were on your boat in the middle of here."
Hmm.
And that's how they figured out where she was at
Hmm.
because they
Yeah.
were tracking him with his phone. Because he said,
Hmm.
"I wasn't there. I was here."
Yeah.
But now they knew like he's lying about being at here, so let's go look there where he said he wasn't, but we know he was.
Yeah. And listen, today it's just not even worth it to do all that, man. We're just living in a completely different world.
Yeah, we
Just
have
go get yourself a OnlyFans account, you know?
people don't know what OnlyFans is.
Show your your naughty bits on there, whatever. You'd be good to go, man. I don't have one, but I hear people are racking up over there.
Talking about iDubbbz's girlfriend. I bet you that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, isn't that the chick that she's on YouTube and she just went over and started doing that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she was dating. She got into a relationship with some other big YouTuber who used to
yeah.
criticize feminism and stuff like that. Now he's, I don't know what other words to say, cucking to her,
Hmm.
defending her. Now everyone's jumping on like, hey, what the hell?
Yeah, yeah. It's a crazy world out there, man.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me on, man. It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on our show and doing that. I
Yeah.
figured I'd take the time to come on your show. Um, you
Yeah. And
know,
people that
from
don't know,
time to time, I do other people's shows when I have time.
yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. For people that don't know, Hank is now involved with Emily,
Hmm.
and he's been writing articles for Amaland
Hmm.
and doing videos.
Hmm.
In fact, my latest story about the ATF and the Boogaloo thing, if you look at the very top of that article, it is Hank and I
Hmm.
talking about it on Hank's channel. So
Yeah, that
you
was cool. That was a good one.
so you'll see me from time to time on Hank's podcast, and you will see MLN breaking news from time to time on Hank's podcast.
Hmm.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
about it. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you, man.
Tell everyone where they can find you.
Go to hankstrange.com. You can find out everything about me that you need over there. Everything's there. Just hankstrange.com. Explore.
Look for Lola's deals.
Yes, there's Lola's deals. There's merchandising stuff. You can see where our podcast is. All of that. Everything's on there.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll be back next week. Sorry about no showing on the show last night. Had some personal stuff come up that I had to take care of. But yeah, I will be back this week with Eric Blanford, I believe.
Cool.
IV8888. Really cool
That's
guy.
right. Yeah.
I think you know him.
Yes, absolutely. Huh?
You go to a shoot every year, right?
No, I don't go. I haven't been every year. I have been there, and I do stuff with the IV 8888 posse crew. And they're good. They're good people. So
Yeah, I want to ask him about his Discovery Channel pilot
Yeah, that's
I don't know if
funny.
you ever recall that.
Huh?
You know, he had a pilot
Yeah, I
program.
know I know what you're talking about. I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've never asked him about that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What happened with that?
Mhm.
But that is it for me. Remember, you can always join my Patreon. We're going to be giving away passes um, to download the Sniper Assassin movie with Tom Berenger that comes out on June 16th. We got a bunch of those. We're going to be giving out to my Patreons and anyone who does super chats. Well, that is it for tonight. I will see you guys later. Have a good weekend. And those are fake guns, YouTube. Please do not disconnect my chat. All right. Thanks, guys.